for somebody to come in so we can start this little conversation. See what's going on, because I want to talk about the little conversation that I had today with an attorney, as well as the process to register for voting here in Yarmouth, and a couple little updates here and there. So I see there's a couple people in here. How are you guys today? Hopefully everything's doing great for you, or going great for you guys. So I reached out to a couple people the other day about my trespass, and I've got a little bit of word back, so I just wanted to jump in here and talk about some of that, as well as like the process to vote in our local municipal elections for anybody that is local that might watch this video. How's it going, Perry? How are you? Because it seems like this election is a silent election, as someone said to me today. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people that are my age or younger that are of age to vote, that live in town, that aren't registered to vote because they don't know the process to get to register to vote. And that's why Pam Mood has been our mayor for so long, is because the people that are used to that process of voting are like of the generation that paper processes are normal for them. Whereas the generation that should be getting to start voting isn't really necessarily accustomed to those processes. So it makes it a little odd for them to register to vote. So I really want to express the fact that there's people in this town that need to go down to town hall soon, very, very soon, because our elections are, I'm pretty sure they start on the 19th of October and they run for like a week or something like that, because it's like an electronic voting system. I really hope that everybody goes down. If you're not sure that you're already on the voter list for the municipal elections, I hope you go down to town hall and you talk with David Solos. He's there in the morning. He said is the best time to catch him. I've had a couple conversations over the phone with him, and get him to check your name through the municipal registries if you are a town resident, to see if you are actually on those municipal voter lists, because the process just isn't user friendly for today's day and age, especially where it's going to be an electronic ballot system and an electronic voting system, yet all of the information is done through pen and paper. So I really want people to go down. He's in the basement of town hall, and go and speak with him and ask if you're on the voter registration form or on the voter registration list. And if you're not, he has a simple form and he can submit it to you, but it will be past the deadline now, so you won't be able to have your voter information mailed to you. You'll have to go and pick that up at town hall. But I really want people to go and do that, because it's really important to vote in your local and municipal elections. And this is something Pam, we've been our mayor for like a long time. It's been a long, long time, and we have a lot of issues in this town that never get resolved, and Pam Mood is the forefront of that, as well as town council. So this year we have an individual that goes by the name of Gertie Brar. She is the daughter of a ex-school teacher here in the Yarmouth area, Mr. Brar. Some people might be aware of him or know who he is. And I spoke with her today, and this is a little bit of an update. I may be doing this. This isn't set in stone yet, but an on-camera interview with the mayoral candidate Gurdet Brar in the near future, and we plan on doing a live stream for that and allowing individuals and viewers and members of the public to call in and ask any questions that they have for her. And that doesn't mean you have to be a constituent. Even if you're just a member of the public and want to call in and ask certain questions, that's more than welcome. And I'm going to be having some questions for her, and hopefully we're going to have some meaningful discussions and be able to move forward and get to know this individual, who I believe there's only one other person running against Pam Mood, and I think why not try for some change? If we don't like her, we can always vote differently in the future. But Pam Mood has shown what she has done and what she plans on doing in the future. So I think it's valuable for us to go forward and maybe try a new approach, a new modern approach. I was looking into Jeff Bouchou, and he's been employed through the town for 20 years. He's been employed through the town since the Richard Hurlburt embezzlement scandals and beyond that. So we already have had corruption in Yarmouth in the past, and individuals have been prosecuted and fined, and there's been jail time that's been served, as well as suspended sentences like house arrest and probationary periods and things like that. Um, so, and these are the individuals that were born from that riding, that were born from those individuals that came from them and their guidance. So to think that there's no sort of governmental corruption here in Yarmouth is crazy, and there absolutely is, and I think we need to address it sooner than later, because we've had a lot of time with this mayor, and it seems like there's no publications whatsoever about this local election. Very, very little. I know that Ms. G. Barrar just announced her riding. There isn't really much information, so it'll be nice to see what she has to say, and maybe have some meaningful discuss the policing in our area, as well as the emergency health services, which has been, in my opinion, terrible for years and years and years all around. The implications of moving fire dispatch out of the local municipality and sending it further away, and how that might implicate the citizens and people of Yarmouth. Um, and I also want to talk about housing issues. Obviously, we have housing issues here in Yarmouth, just as well as many, 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 if not all, other communities across Canada. I don't think there is a single community across this country, and many others around the world, that isn't being afflicted by housing crisis. Um, but those are some things that I want to talk to her about and go forward with. Now, in regards to my trespass, I did mention it to her, and she made a comment. I don't. Maybe that's something we'll talk about in the live stream, so she can get more in depth on what she thinks about that. But I did speak with an individual today over the phone by the name of David Fraser, and we had some conversations, and it's looking like I need to pay a bit of money for some services, and which is understandable. I understand that he has a profession and he's working, but I'm not sure. I need to think about some of the processes that. Yeah, exactly. You don't see newcomers living in tent cities. Exactly. It's just it's people that have been here. And he gave me some good advice, and we had some meaningful conversations, I would think, and good discussion. Now it's a question of the financial aspect of uh, hiring a lawyer and getting them to do paperwork and whatnot, which comes along with an hourly rate and things like that, just like it would if you were to hire me to do something. So going forward, I don't know if I'm going to do it pro se or have him represent me with just some sort of, or even just have him represent me, like not represent me rather, but give me some advice if I need to at times, because it seems like, and as he kind of stated, it seems like it would be an easy win to challenge this as a charter violation, because I even looked into the bylaws that they're trying to cite me for, and sent them over to my buddy at Winnipeg Cop Watch just to look at and just be like, look at this, like I didn't even violate any of these bylaws. And there, if you Google Yarmouth Town bylaws, it'll have a page full of them, and there's public property bylaws and things like that. So if you start searching on the relevant for trespass, I didn't violate any of the bylaws that are cited there. Now there is a thing that says is not limited to, or this statute does not limit the generality of the statute. How's it going on in Canada? How are you, man? But at the same time, I was doing a charter protected activity, and them trying to say that um, town hall. How's it going? Kunderthunt. That's a nice name. Um, Hopefully it's warm down there today in Florida. It's starting to get a little chilly up here in Canada, but that's just me. I'm cold all the time. Them saying that Yarmouth Town Hall is town property, under their own bylaws, it lists like definitions of things, and it says public property means, and one of those meanings is property owned by the town. So they don't even know their own laws or policies or bylaws regarding the own town, and they're trying to enforce something on me that not only keeps me away from town hall, but it impedes my ability to access services that town hall offers, because that's where you would like apply for building permits and things like that. And as a contractor, I need to apply for building permits. So for the next 5 months, technically, maybe, yeah. I probably could make you some spaghetti Mario. But so over the next 5 months, technically, I'm not allowed to submit building permit applications. Um, yeah. So that's another thing that kind of put me in a rough spot, as well as the thankfully, actually, I'll let you guys know that I was able to meet up with David Solos in a public place and give him my voter information registration form before the deadline, which was Friday of last week, so that my card will be mailed out to me and I won't have to go to town hall to pick it up with my ID. So that was good, but a lot of people don't realize, or maybe they don't realize, that what trespassing me did is it made it so I had to go through a gatekeeper to um, pass those in, right? Instead of just being able to access the service as a normal Canadian or as anybody else would, um, I had to go through I had to meet the guy in the rain, to be perfectly honest, but which is an infringement on my rights. Like, I'm allowed to participate in municipal and federal and provincial elections, right? Um, and their opinion and their diswant of me to record doesn't really matter, and it doesn't trump my charter right to do so, because it is listed as a public place. So it's just it's an odd perspective that the town has taken, and I don't know how steadfast they'll be, but it's one of those things that it makes me want to violate it and get them to act on it more officially. Because if you look in the bylaw, it states if you do this, 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 and this, and this, you can get charged with it. It's chargeable by a summary offense, um, and a fine of not less than $100 and not more than $1,000, or 90 days in jail if you don't pay the fine. So it seems like the town is trying to implement fines and jail time without due process, because it already states, like, maybe you'll go in front of a judge for that, but it doesn't really say, like, oh, you will be subject to criminal proceedings to which a fine could apply. It says you're guilty of this, right? And that's a statute, or sorry, bylaw, that they're trying to enforce on me at Yarmouth Town Hall. Bit strange, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have any opinion on that, but it's just odd to me, I guess. And it's the typical, they're gonna hold strong because that's what they believe in and that's what they've already done. So I don't really expect any any change of their mind or any retraction of the trespass order. Excuse me. But maybe with this municipal election, if Ms. G. Brar gets into office, maybe that's something through discussions and an interview and further discussions beyond her election, that might be something that can be lifted, and we can amend these bylaws and policies and maybe re-educate the town of Yarmouth on what public photography is and what is allowed, and that feelings don't trump charter rights, because we have a charter right to film in public, and there's no expectation of privacy in public, and those are public officials in the course of their duties, so we have every right as Canadian citizens to record them. And if there's anybody here that doesn't know what video I'm talking about, if you go to my channel, there's a video where it says I'm being trespassed from Yarmouth Town Hall. It's about an hour and 10 minutes, or an hour and a minute long, or something like that. And there is a bit of dead space in between. I don't usually edit my videos. I just include them in their entirety. So in that interaction, I get trespassed from Yarmouth Town Hall after having some very cordial interactions and actually being there to get some video that I requested from Yarmouth Town Hall, which I'm actually still reviewing, you guys. That's the truth. I'm still reviewing and looking to seeing how I want to, because I got to do some editing with that video, just because I want to include it with the other video that I have, kind of put them side by side, but that'll show Constable Sandra Wall smacking my phone out of my hand, and that'll be from two different angles. So it'll be from my angle, so we'll get the audio as well as my perspective, and then we're gonna have the perspective of Town Hall. I'm good, Zeneb. Oh, long time no see. Good to see you here. So hopefully that's gonna be something that I can get in the works here shortly. I'm terrible at editing, so I'm still, sorting that out. But I'd like to get that in that sort of format, just so it's more easier to understand, so it's not just like a silent security video. But if that's the way that I have to put it out, then that's the way that I have to put it out, I guess. And in regards to that, editing's terrible. I hate it. Like, it's the bane of my existence. Like, I'd rather read case law, or go on CanLil, or like look up statute or chapters. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like, it makes me want to go on Fiverr and pay someone to do it for me. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to do that, because then it takes away my freedom, I guess. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, you edited that to make it look like it was bad. You made it look like that way through the magic of editing. Well, I don't edit, so there ain't no magic here. Anyways, so yeah, I kind of want to do that. But in regards to that, I spoke to Constable Bork. He might actually be a corporal, because he was a supervisor, either an acting supervisor or corporal. I can't remember. Over the phone. And now this is something else Winnipeg Audit told me. It was like, man, you just record your phone calls with another phone. And I'm just like, why didn't I think of that? I've just been trying to use apps and things. So I didn't record that. So this was after the conversations that he said that to me. And I'm like, God damn, that's a good idea. But he told me that Chris Boardman is going to be in charge of Sandra Wall's complaints, as well as, I guess it would be Corporal Burridge. So hopefully we'll be hearing back from that soon, and I'll be able to submit the information in regards to that. And I've also submitted complaints for Paquette, Gordon, and Bourgeois. I think I posted that on the community channel as well. For their involvement there that they had at town hall. And actually, just today, it might even be right next to me. No, that's not it. I received a letter from the RCMP for a complaint against Chetwynd by all people, and it says they're still investigating it. That happened like 2 years ago. So like, big faith, big faith in the complaints process in the CRCC. Big faith. Um, 2 years. The guy's not even a cop anymore, right? He quit because his wife got in a car accident, so he had to take care of his kids. So he's not even a cop anymore. And they're still saying they're investigating it 2 years later. Oh man, that the government ball rolls slow, very slow. It's it makes you wonder, like, how many complaints people just abandon. Um, like, over 2 years, especially in Canada as a renter, like, you move, right? Like, leases end and things like that. And if you haven't heard anything from these organizations for months and months and months and months at a time, thousands of complaints, absolutely. But if you haven't heard from these people, like, it's not your first fucking thing to be like, you know what, I'm going to update my address with the police. No, I don't want them knowing where I live. Screw that. They can find me. Like, figure that shit out on your own, Mr. Detective. But, so they don't, and I even selected my contact method as email. But they insist on mailing me physical paper every single time for every single complaint that I have. It doesn't matter what I put as correspondence. They don't care. They have their way of doing things, and that's what they're going to do. And they know it's the best way for citizens not to follow through with their complaints. They've played this system more than anybody else. They are the arbiter of the system, right? Like, the CRCC just gathers a bit of information. They call you up, maybe, if you even get that far. I've had a couple calls recently, and they say, oh, is this right? Is this right? And they say, all right, I'm going to send it over to the cops. And they send it over to this guy who's works for the RCMP, who's like friend, like, you can ask them, they'll be like, yeah, Boardman's a good guy, right? So is this impartial? Is this like, is there no bias here? Like, is he not like, that's my buddy that I used to drink beer with, like, probably not gonna look at him in the same way as I'm gonna look at a criminal, right? So we've got this system, this complaint system, which could completely be dissolved if officers just charged other officers and sent them in front of the court. And there would be accountability. Officers would be afraid of committing crimes or doing things against the Charter of Rights, because there would actually be actual recourse against them. And they couldn't say, like, oh, this is a burden on the criminal justice system, because, like, well, these members should know not to commit these crimes, so if they're committing them, they're burdening their own system because they're a part of the criminal justice system. It doesn't make sense why we have an independent organization that the government seems to think supersedes. Right? It's not. It's like, it's a joke. It's a joke, and it seems like the more we have these discussions and the more we have these interactions, that the more the people that are supposed to respect our rights laugh at us and say, oh, you're just a minority. It doesn't matter how large the group grows. We'll always be a minority because they're so closed-minded, right? They only look in their groups, their friend circles. So we don't exist. We're just peasants, right? We're not elected officials, which they don't realize that we elected them to their bodies of government. So it's a shame that our rights are treated so poorly by the individuals that are supposed to uphold our rights. Yeah, it's weird. Really weird. Really weird, eh? What do you guys got to say? Anything else? I can stop ranting for a little bit if you guys want to talk. I don't really know what to say anymore. I'm just at the point where it's like, I want to go out and I want to do more, but there's such far distances between things here, and like, it's so rural, there's no way to track them. Like, we only have such a limited amount of police in this area, so I think more or less focusing on like the governmental bodies around my area, because they're the ones that are brick and mortar kind of thing. They sit in a building, they sit in their little ivory towers. Um, and I really hope that with this municipal election, that more people and more young people will go out and vote, and hopefully we can see a change in our governmental order in our town, because Pam Wood's been here for so long. I really hope that we get some change, and that this change is for the better of Yarmouth and it doesn't hinder us. I can only hope for that. This is why I'd like to do an interview with her. Like I said, I reached out to her. She needs to um, run it by her campaign team, which I understand. She is getting into a riding, and she wouldn't want to do anything that might adversely affect her chances of winning. But I don't think any type of interview with me would have any sort of negative effect. I'm just trying to ask simple questions and have an honest discussion with her about maybe some policies and her opinions on the policies here in Yarmouth, and if she would change them or if she would stick with them, and why she would stick with them, right? Just like the same conversation that I had with Zach Turkle, my local MLA. So another, talking about MLAs actually, I called Alan McMaster today, and I spoke with the staff at his office in regards to my trespass. He wasn't available, he was in a meeting, but the receptionist was very nice, and she took my info, my name, my number, and a brief description of what I was calling about, and she promised me that she would pass the information along. So hopefully in the next few days or so I'll be having a phone call back from Mr. McMaster, and we'll be able to talk about that trespass order and what he thinks, because McMaster is a part of the Internal Affairs Division of the Nova Scotia Legislature. So it'll be nice to see what he has to say, or any comments or concerns that he might have with a municipality trespassing me from my town hall for a charter protected right. So that'll be fun, and I think that might be the first phone call that I record, because like I said, me and Winnipeg Audits, or Winnipeg Cop Watch, sorry, were talking about it the other day, and he was like, man, just literally record on your other phone. And it was something I never thought would really work that well. So I'll try it, and we'll see how it goes in my particular instance, because my phone is quite quiet, my speaker's crap. So I'll try it out, and we'll see how it goes. It might not be the best quality audio interaction, but I'll try, and I'll upload it as the same as I do with all my other videos, unedited, and hopefully we can gain some insight from that. So I don't know if you guys think it's a good idea for me to like talk to my mayoral candidate, and like I said, I want to kind of do it a live stream format, so you guys can come in and pose questions through the live stream, as well as we're going to have a phone line open. I think that she said that she would like to do. That was actually her idea. So you guys can call in and pose any questions that you might have, something maybe that I forgot, or voice your concerns or your comments. So if that's something you guys would like to do, I'd just like a little bit of feedback on that, just to see if it's something that might be worthwhile trying out or not, and if it was something that you would tune into. And even if you don't catch the live stream, it might be something that you catch at a later date, and you still have a question for her. So her phone number will be listed in the description, so it's something that you'll be able to call her at a later date, and maybe pose those questions even after. That's something that I think she would be more than willing to do. So you guys, it looks like everything is kind of slowing down. I said my piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to keep pondering what I'm going to do with that friggin' video of Sandra that I got from Town Hall. And yeah, get that edited in for you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to talk with Alan McMaster as well as Gurdep Brar about her candidacy coming up. So I just want to say thanks for coming today, guys. Like always, you guys make the channel what it is, and I really appreciate your guys' input and comments. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for future content.